Hey there, podcast lovers. Looking for a fresh take on the world? Tune into Nikki's World, where we dive into everything hitting the headlines and chat about just what's on our minds. No filters, just real talk. Whether you're sipping your morning coffee or unwinding after a long day, Nikki's World is your go-to for genuine commentary on the real world. Subscribe now if you want to hear the real deal on what's going on. Join the conversation on Nikki's World, where every episode feels like catching up with an old friend. Don't miss out.
What's up, y'all? Let's do this. Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today, guys, we got to talk about why freedom of speech is dead in Europe and especially in the UK, and why America is the beacon of hope and freedom of speech here in this country. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, seriously, can you all please consider donating a cup of coffee for me? Because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and Cumberland Farms, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories, more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donations. I am on Ko-fi, guys. If you guys want to support, sponsor, and donate or tip to Nikki's World, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, seriously, y'all, please hit that like, subscribe. Please give me a review. Good, bad, and the ugly. Also, guys, I do have a bunch of affiliate links. First off is Minds.com. Minds.com is a Connecticut based social media platform. They are an awesome alternative to Facebook. So if you guys value your right to freedom of speech, like I do here, guys, you guys can head on over to Minds.com where you guys can speak freely without fear of censorship, being deplatformed, or suspended. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link with Byrna.com. Byrna.com is a less lethal self-defense company, guys. They make their top of the line Byrna SD, Byrna LE, TCR, Mission 4, and their newest, guys, their Byrna Compact Launcher, guys. So if you guys value your right to the Second Amendment, your right to self-defense, but you guys want to do it in a less lethal manner, well then, my friends, well then, head on over to my friends at Byrna.com. Also, guys, I do have the most awesome, and I mean the most awesome affiliate link out there. If you know someone out there that needs to wear adult diapers, that needs to be put in adult diapers like I do, guys, well, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply, because at North Shore Medical Supply, they have their top of the line Megamax diaper, the North Shore Supreme pull up, they're turner boosters, guys. So if you know someone out there that needs to wear adult diapers, that needs to be put in adult diapers, like I do, guys, well then, send them on over to my friends at North Shore Medical Supply. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, seriously, y'all, can y'all please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today? Wow, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am diapered up as always. I am in my North Shore Megamax diapers with my Eternal boosters. And yes, I'm in a t-shirt today because it's nice and hot out there as well. So I'm diapered up, padded up. Let's get on with the show, shall we? So, today I want to talk to you about why freedom of speech is dead in the UK and why America is a beacon for freedom of speech here. Because I got this article that came to me on Monday during Labor Day weekend. Okay, this came from the UK Daily Mail. Armed police arrest father TED creator Graham Lineham for anti-trans tweet as he steps off a plane in Britain. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, I will never, ever fucking step foot in the UK. I will never, ever, for the shit like this that they're doing in the UK, arresting people for what, anti-trans tweets or supporting like patriotism in the UK. This is why I will never step foot in the UK. And I'll read you the headline. Father TED creator Graham Linham has revealed he was arrested by foreign armed police officers at Heathrow Airport over a series of anti-tweets. The Irish comedy writer who was traveling on American Airlines flight from Arizona to London says he was treated like a terrorist after being detained as soon as he stepped off the plane. This is why I'm going to say like this, ladies and gentlemen. The UK does not have freedom of speech. You can't even say shit about the Muslims, the illegal immigration over there, or the trans cult over there in the UK. Because if you said that shit in the UK, they'd have your ass fucking arrested and thrown in jail for 2 years. Yeah. And then if you talk about the Muslim rape crisis in the UK, they throw you in jail. Tommy Robinson is a good example. Yeah, Tommy Robinson is one fucking good example. The fact that the United Kingdom will arrest anybody for saying anything about their protected groups goes to show, and I'm going to say this on the podcast show, and y'all guys can flag it on September 3rd, 2025. The UK government should be overthrown. People should rise up, take up arms, and overthrow the UK government, including the UK law enforcement. Yes, I'm advocating for that because you know why? I value freedom of speech. I value the right to the freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and the right to say whatever you want. Yes, I am. Because you know why? I live in the United States of America. I'm a U.S. citizen. And the fact that if the UK government wants to try to arrest Americans for their free speech rights, I'm going to say like this: bring it, bitch. Because we'll do a repeat of 1776 all over again. And we're going to tell you this: we have more arms than you will ever have in your fucking lifetime. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you this: the fucked up UK cops are so pussyfied that they'd be run out of the country in less than 2 seconds. They literally would. But the fact of the matter is, this guy by the name of like Graham Linham, he was arrested by the London Metropolitan Police Department, the same police department in the UK who their commissioner threatened to have Americans arrested for retweeting about what's going on over there in the UK or arresting Americans for their free speech rights, I go like this to the Metropolitan Police Department in the UK. Fuck you, and fuck you. Because you know why? I'm an American citizen. Your laws don't apply on American soil. So for the UK to think that they can bully Americans, I think what Mr. Trump should do to the UK is basically double their tariffs or even triple their tariffs. For the fact that they arrested this guy, tariffs should be like sky high. Yeah, I would go like this. I would even promote that Mr. Trump should impose 100% tariffs on the UK until they relent and bring back freedom of speech. And then they get rid of all the Muslim illegals in their country. I would do that as a trade deal. But the fact that they arrested this guy for anti-trans tweets says to me that like this, the UK has become an authoritarian fascist country almost on the level of the Chinese, which the Chinese are probably sitting back and going like this, oh shit, I didn't know you could do that. Oh shit. Yeah, they're probably doing that right now. But I'm telling you, man, the UK has become an authoritarian tyrant government, and I am advocating for every British citizen to take up arms and overthrow and topple their current government. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm going to tell you this, as an American citizen who lives here in the United States of America, I'm going to say like this: the UK government is a failed state, is a failed communist dictatorship. Okay? Doesn't value freedom of speech, doesn't value freedom of the press, doesn't value people's right to say whatever they want. Hell, they even arrested what? A girl for showing a British for having pride in a British flag? This is why I go like this. Why do we need to have US bases in Europe? Why? Because we have bases what in RAF Mildenhall and RAF Lakenheath? We should leave though. We should leave. We should say like this to the UK. We're not staying here anymore. We're not staying. We're leaving. At the end of the year, base is all yours. Bye. See you. We're going. Yeah. Why should we stay in a country that we helped save during World War II, and now they're treating their people like communist fascist thugs? Yeah. And then the fact that you can't defend yourself, I'm telling you this, man. Any UK cop try to pull that shit here in America, even American cops would laugh at these wannabe UK cops who to me are nothing more than hired goons or security guards with a taser. Yeah, to me, these UK cops wouldn't even last a single day. They would literally, and I mean literally, ladies and gentlemen, they would literally be wiped off the map if they ever tried to enter America. Telling you, telling you. The fact that they are so anti freedom of speech, this goes to show that the UK does not value freedom of speech. Yeah, the UK doesn't. Because I'm telling you right now, the UK is a communist tyrant thug. It is. It is. This is why I will never step foot in Europe. I will never step foot in the UK because who knows? I could be traveling on the way to some other country, and all of a sudden the UK cops try to handcuff my ass for violating freedom of speech, and then I hold an American passport. I wonder how that flies in front of Rubio. in front of Secretary of State Rubio. Wonder how the UK has to justify that, because then Secretary Rubio would say, "Well, our country, our rights, you can't do that. So you hand them over, or else we go to war." And I wouldn't. And I tell you what, man, Trump should go to war. JD Vance should go to war with UK over their lack of freedom of speech, over their oppression of their people. They should. And I tell you this, UK people should stand up for their right. In my opinion, the British patriots should take a page from the Irish Republican Army. Take the lessons, okay? Take the hard fought lessons from the IRA and how they fought against the British government. They should do that to in the UK. Because I'm telling you right now, the UK citizens over there, they're being thrown in prison left and right just for speaking up, or just for praying at an abortion clinic, or just for showing pride in their country, or just speaking the truth about the trans cult. Okay? The fact that the London Metropolitan Police arrested this guy on an American Airlines flight on an American-based company, that alone should warrant their ambassador to be hauled into Secretary Rubio's office for an explanation. That should be, because the fact that this guy had free speech rights to speak up, to say what he want, okay, but then some tranny with a Y chromosome and a 6-inch dick and probably so fucking butt ugly that you couldn't tell the difference between like a good looking girl and that, and they think that that dude has more rights than the girls and women in the UK. This is why I say like this, ladies and gentlemen, freedom of speech is dead in Europe. To all the British citizens, to all the British patriots, if you have family, if you have girls, I would implore you to apply for asylum in America. I'd implore you to apply for political asylum in America, because you're being persecuted by the liberal labor government, who would rather pander to illegal immigrants, Muslims, okay, and trans cult. I would implore you to apply for political asylum in America. And if the US government's listening, I would give the same deal that you give to white South Africaners to come to America, same thing to British patriots who want to flee persecution from Europe. Allow them to come to America, okay? Give them political asylum. Say, you want to come be able to speak freely without the fear of censorship, without the fear of being like hounded, harassed, suspended from social media, or thrown in jail for speaking the truth or speaking your mind. Come to America. Come to the United States of America. Because you know why? America is the land of the free. I love America, because you know why? I can podcast my own show. That's called freedom of the press. I have that right here in this country. The UK, if I ever tried to say or half the shit I say on the show, would have me in their prison. It would. But in America, heck, I can say whatever I want. Heck, yeah. And the fact that the London Metropolitan Police arrested this guy for merely speaking his mind at the behest of the trans cult, and I believe one of the trans cult is that dude by the name of Indy. What's his? I don't care what his last name, but his first name is Indy. That that dude That dude's a tyrant thug. That dude's a thug. And I tell you what, if he ever tried to push that shit in America, he'd fucking run his ass back to the UK with his dick up his ass. Because I'm telling you, as an American, we value freedom of speech. We value the Second Amendment. That's why we defend the First and Second Amendment so viciously. Because we know you take those two away, you don't have a country anymore. Yeah, you don't. That's why we defend the First and Second Amendment. Unlike other countries like Europe or UK or the Germans, for example, the Germans, they'll arrest you even if you post a meme. Yeah, that's how sensitive, that's how pussyfied Europe is. Yeah, that's how pussyfied, that's how weak Europe is. They'll even arrest you for posting a mere meme. This is why I go like this. That conflict in Russia, abandon Ukraine and let Russia steamroll right through Europe and say, hey, we're gonna be across the pond. You can deal with them. Yeah. But the fact that they wanted to arrest someone in the UK for merely expressing an opinion, this is why the UK is fucked up. The UK is basically fucked up beyond recognition. It pretty much is. Pretty much is, guys. This is why I will never travel to UK. Even if I was on US government orders, I wouldn't even travel because you know why? I'd be afraid the UK government and their police department will try to fucking arrest me for expressing my free speech rights, even though I'm an American citizen on orders from an American government. Yeah, but I'm telling you, this is why I will never step foot in any country that does not allow its citizens the God given right to defend themselves and a God given right to speak freely. And if they don't, as an American citizen, I'd be advocating for my government to strip all aid from that country and hike up tariffs so far up that it hits the International Space Station. I would. But I like this article from the Federalist. Here are 3 ways Americans can fight the UK's Orwellian attempts to suppress free speech. Here's the headline: The arrest of the beloved comedian Graham Linehan for criticizing transgender movement makes it clear the UK is becoming a police state. Read you the first paragraph. Yesterday, the news came Graham Linehan was arrested by 5 police officers moments he stepped off a plane in Heathrow. Though he is less well known in America, Linehan is an Irish comedic genius who created 2 of the most beloved UK sitcoms of the last 30 years, Father Ted and IT Crowd. Linehan's supposed crime was that he's been a persistent online critic of the transgender movement, and his arrest was over 3 tweets, which you can read here. Nothing about his tweets are debatable as a matter of free speech or incitement. In a sane society, they would be all protected. Yeah, and I'll read you this next paragraph. For a while, people have been screaming that the UK has transformed itself into an Orwellian police state. UK now arrests as many as 30 people a day for online speech, and like what happened to Lineham is much of what is punished as being benign by First Amendment standards. Yeah, the fact that the UK arrests people every day online for free speech rights, for merely expressing their freedom of speech that we have in America, and they're doing it over in the UK. I wouldn't want them as our allies. Go fuck yourself. If you're gonna do that to your citizens, this is why we kicked the British out of America in 1776. And we did it in the War of 1812. Yeah, we kicked them. And I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, this is why American exceptionalism is very real. This is why America, land of the free, home of the brave, you can defend yourself freely. You can speak freely without fear of arrest. Over across the pond in the UK, you say shit like that, the stuff I say on my show here, I'd probably be thrown in jail. Which is why I'm glad I'm never going to travel to the UK. I'm never going to travel to Europe because I never know if I leave America to travel, what are the odds that they'll try to arrest me? Yeah, what are the odds? But the fact that I live in the United States of America, no foreign government's law can ever enter this country. None. That means including the Muslims' so-called Sharia law, forbidden. It's not allowed in this country. And if Muslims try to do that, they get a visit from the fucking FBI. It's that simple. But the fact that, like, I'll give you this one example, guys. I remember a long time ago, I posted it like an article about a UK tranny who faked and pretended to be intersex, and then posted like proof that this dude isn't intersex, but it's more like a pretender. Okay, but then this UK trainee went to his UK Keystone sissy cops to demand that I be arrested. But when they found out where I live, they said, sorry, we can't do that because he's an American. Their laws, they have a right to say whatever you want. I don't care. I know you think it's offensive, but he's an American. Their laws, their rules, they get to say whatever they want. So that UK tranny couldn't even touch me. Yeah, that's a clear example. But I'm just gonna say like this. I'm just gonna say like this. The arrest of what's his name? Sorry again, Linham Graham is an example of why freedom of speech is dead. Freedom of speech is dead in Europe. Yeah, this is why people in the UK, I believe like this, because the UK has become an authoritarian police state. They've now what? Surveil every social media post, every this and this and this. I go like this to the fucking UK police. Go ahead, surveil my post. You're not gonna be able to do shit because you know why? I'm an American citizen. I get to say whatever I want, and you can't do shit. It's that simple. Yeah, you can't do jack diddly shit because you know why? I get to say whatever I want because I live in the freest country in the world. Yeah, while you arrest people, throw people in jail for 2 years, take away their right to self-defense, take away their right to arm themselves. That's why the UK is becoming an authoritarian tyrant. It pretty much is. It pretty much is. This is why I go like this. America should be a global power for free speech. America should basically go across the globe and say like this, you want to do business with America? Well, here's the deal. You give your people the right to speak freely. You give your people the right to defend themselves. And if you don't do that, sorry, you're not gonna do business in this country. And if you're gonna do business country, but then still not allow them, we're gonna hike your tariffs up 50 to 100%. Bankrupt you guys. Because then when if you want to do business with America, then we're gonna say like this. Well, then you have to give freedom of speech. You have to allow people to defend themselves. You have to allow people the right to self defense. And if you don't, we hike your tariffs. It's pretty much simple. It's pretty much. And the fact that the transgender cult in the UK has a grip on the UK government and uses the UK government to bully people into silence, bully into being arrested. I'm glad they don't do that here in America. I'm glad they don't. I'm glad they don't. Because if they do that here in America, hey, Clarence Thomas, are you available to rule on this? Mhm. The trans cult's biggest nightmare would be the Supreme Court, Robert's Court. That'd be their biggest nightmare. That would. But this is why I tell people like this. I tell people, as an American citizen, I value freedom of speech. I value the right of self-defense. That's why I promote that online. I promote that on social media. I tell everyone across the globe, if you value freedom of speech, fight so hard for it. Fight for it. That's why we fought to the death for it. That's why we fought in 1776. That's why we fought in the War of 1812. That's why we finally kicked the British out of fucking North America. We really did. And I'm telling you right now, we value freedom of speech. We really do. And for the life of me, it's like this. Why is the UK turning soft, turning sissy, turning pussyfied? Oh wait, because they elected far left liberals who think that nobody's illegal. Everybody is welcome, including Muslim men who rape, rob, sexually assault, and murder women if they don't like partake in their advances. That's why Europe is basically imploding itself because of that. And then you have the UK, where the UK far left liberals, along with their trans cult, go out and arrest anybody who speaks ill about them, including Linham Graham. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, the UK is not a legitimate government. The Great Britain, the United Kingdom, is not a legitimate government. They will arrest anyone who speaks ill about the transgender cult, about the Muslim rapists, the Muslim illegal immigrants, and the illegal immigrants from Africa. But then again, they tax the living hell out of people to pay for these freeloaders to live in their country while their own citizens are suffering. This is why I say like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the British Patriots need to take a page from the Irish Republican Army. They really need to take a page from these people and literally, ladies and gentlemen, literally rise up, revolt, fight back against the far leftist authoritarian labor government. Fight back. You're not going to be able to win at the polls because you know they're probably going to rig those polls anyway. But fight back. Even if you have to rise up, take a stone and throw, or take a Molotov cocktail and throw at your corrupt government, fight back. Because you know why? Freedom of speech means a lot. Freedom of speech means that as a human being on this third rock from the sun, you have a God given right to say what you want. Okay? You have a God given right to defend yourself. Okay? You have a God given right to speak freely. When any government or any country threatens their own citizens from speaking up, That's when we, as an Americans, should rise up and speak up for them. And if any government threatens an American or threatens American citizens over speaking up of what's going on in their own country, then we should not be doing business with them. We should be boycotting them. We should be saying like this: we demand higher tariffs on the UK until they give freedom of speech and the right to self-defense in their own country. And if they don't do that, raise the tariffs. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Okay? That should be a stipulation to any agreement or any binding contract with any country that we do business with. That any country that wants to do business with the United States of America, you have to give their citizens a right to freedom of speech. You have to give their citizens a right to self defense. And if you don't give those two things as part of an agreement to do business with America, I'm sorry. We can't do business with you guys. We're just gonna let you hang by yourself and let you drown and wallow in your own filth. It's pretty much simple. As an American citizen, I enjoy the right to speak freely. I enjoy freedom of speech. I enjoy freedom of the press. I enjoy the right to say whatever I want. I enjoy the right to criticize my own government. And my own government can't arrest me for that. But in the UK, in Europe, they throw your ass in fucking prison. Yeah, they really do. But in America, hell, that's why you have like left and right wing commentators and left and right wing podcasters, including yours truly here, that can say shit without the fear of being arrested or prosecuted. Yeah, but in the UK, they fucking arrest your ass. They really did. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Just today, like this. I'll read you this article. Nigel Fargo warns U.S. Congress UK censorship law threatens American free speech, encryption, and tech innovation. Yeah, read you the paragraph. Fargo turned a congressional hearing into a warning shot against Britain's digital authoritarianism. Okay, right here. I'll read you the paragraph. Appearing before the House Judiciary Committee, British Member of Parliament Nigel Fargo issued a stark warning about Britain's trajectory on speech regulation, arguing that the UK law now poses a direct threat not only to freedom of expression at home, but also to its core American liberties abroad. Read the next paragraph. In testimony submitted to the U.S. Congress during a hearing titled Europe's Threat to American Speech and Innovation, the Reform Party leader detailed how the United Kingdom's Online Safety Act, passed in 2023, is already being used to pressure American platforms into adopting restrictive UK speech codes that many of which would be flatly unconstitutional under the First Amendment. Basically, the leftist, what Nigel Fargo, who's a member of parliament over there, has said in a hearing to Congress today, UK's Online Safety Act, which is being used to pressure and bully American social media platforms into adopting the UK's authoritarian, restrictive freedom of speech style. I say like this to the UK: don't try that here in America. Because if you're going to try to bully American social media companies into basically restricting freedom of speech, you're asking for your ass to get kicked up so far side up of the head that I'm going to say like this: if I have to kick your ass so high that it hits the fucking International Space Station and causes an orbital shift, then you know shit got fucking real. Yeah, the fact that the UK wants to bully American social media companies into putting UK style restrictive freedom of speech policies. Many social media companies should say to the UK government, fuck you, and fuck you. It's that simple. I know, for example, Andrew Torber, who runs Gab, has frequently has fights with the UK government over British citizens using Gab and demanding that they release personal information about what citizens are on that platform. I say like this: bravo, Gab, bravo. The fact that the UK government is bullying and pressuring social media companies to like basically into intimidating them into like using UK restrictive free speech policies. I say like this, and I say like this: fuck you. You ain't gonna bully. I know I'm a huge supporter of Minds. Minds will never bend the knee to the leftist UK government. Yeah, and even on Breitbart, watch live. Nigel Farage testifies before Congress on Europe's assault on freedom of speech. Read you the headline. Member of Parliament Nigel Farage is among the witnesses testifying before the House Judiciary Committee on Europe's assault on freedom of speech on Wednesday, September 3rd. Which what's nice about this? This is all being recorded. This is all on tape. This is all on public record here in this country. The fact that the UK is silencing freedom of speech, who they tried to say, oh, we're the beacon of democracy. You ain't the beacon of democracy. You for the country that ruled the world, that ruled the waves, it's a shadow of its former self. It pretty much is, guys. The UK government is a shadow of its former self. It pretty much is. This is why, guys, the UK government is all fucked up. And thanks to Nigel for speaking up about this. He's a member of parliament in the UK. He told that, hey, the UK's Online Safety Act is being used by the UK government to pressure and bully American social media companies into caving in on restricting freedom of speech. Yeah, this is why I'm glad, and I tell people like this, guys, this is why I am so glad and so grateful that I have alternative social media platforms. Because I tell people like this is that if they try to bully me on X or Instagram or YouTube, I just laugh at them in their face. I really do. But this is why I say like this: the transgender cult is using that law in the UK to bully, harass, threaten, intimidate, and even sending out their sissy cops to arrest people just for speaking freely. Yeah, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say this: UK is becoming an Orwellian authoritarian state. If you guys remember that film and book 1984, 1984 is being played out in the United Kingdom right now, folks. It's being played out right now. It's being played out for everyone to hear and see. It is. It is, folks. It pretty much is. But this is why I'm glad, guys, that I value freedom of speech. I value the right to speak freely. Okay? But over across the pond, not so much. British patriots are getting harassed, arrested by the UK cops. Yeah. They can't defend themselves because The UK cops have what? Clubs and tasers, which is what? Useless? Yeah, yeah. But they can't defend themselves against that. That's why I carry my burner. Hit them in the right place, boom. They won't come back anytime soon. They won't. They won't. But believe me, guys, believe me, the UK government's corrupt. It's been corrupt. It has. It has been. But I tell you what, I'm glad I live in America. I'm glad I'm able to speak freely. I'm glad I'm able to have my First and Second Amendment rights. Unlike the British citizens over there who live under the threat of being thrown in jail just for speaking freely, just for posting freely, just for speaking up about the Muslim population like invading the UK or the illegal immigrants crossing the English Channel from France into the UK. Yeah, those citizens are getting jailed for speaking up about it. Yeah, but then here in America, we get to speak up about it, and our government can't do jack shit. hmm They can't, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing. But you know what? Our government protects our right to self-defense. Our government protects our right to speak freely, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. Something the trans call in the UK will never ever fucking understand. Because you know why? They're not American citizens. As an American citizen, I enjoy those rights. Yeah. And that's why I'm glad and I'm grateful that I live in the greatest country on God-given earth. And I'm glad, ladies and gentlemen, that I live in the freest country on earth. Really am. Really am, guys. But I will say this to the UK citizens over there who are fighting tyranny, who are fighting oppression, who are fighting a government that wants to jail you for speaking up and speaking freely or tweeting or posting freely. I commend you guys. Keep up the fight. Keep up the fight. And if you guys need help here in America, we will do all we can from across the pond here and help you guys fight the freedom of speech. We'll do whatever it takes, but we're not going to step. We know we will never step foot in the UK because if we step foot, who knows? I could be the next Linham Graham and be arrested, prosecuted, and thrown in jail just for speaking and tweeting freely. Yeah, but to the British patriots over here, if the fighting gets too tough, go to the U.S. Embassy in London and request political asylum. We'll fight for that. We'll push for that. We'll make that happen for you guys. But I'm telling you right now, your country is not the same again. Your country is becoming an authoritarian police state that makes China and North Korea look look pale in comparison. I mean, you guys make China and North Korea blush at the shit you're doing to your own people. Yeah, pretty much. But I will say this, I am glad I live in the United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave, live in the freest country on earth, a shiny beacon on a hill that people around the world would love to come to this country and to be free, prosperous, and be able to do what you want, say what you want, speak what you want. Yeah, people will do anything to come to this country. Yeah, people will. But I'm glad people like me are speaking up. And I'm telling you right now, what's happening in the UK is a warning to America that should never happen here in America. And because you know why? We have a thing called the United States Constitution. And we have that document that says that here's our rights and here's what government is allowed and not allowed to do. It's that simple, guys. And if the UK citizens want to borrow our Constitution and do the same thing over there, we'll be more than happy to help you guys. We'll be more than happy to help you. Okay? Wow. Wow. That was a good show. That was a good show, guys. And yes, guys, I often do my podcast show in my diapers and sometimes my onesies. Yeah, it is. It is often a good show, guys. But before we go, I want to talk about this. There was a one friend of mine on X who got suspended. Her X handle is transphobe one, like that. She got suspended by the the AGPs, the autogenophile trans cult, because the autogenophile cult was going after her, harassing her, doxing, threatening, intimidating. You know, this is a good lesson, guys, in why people should have alternative social media platforms. Okay, people should have alternative social media platforms like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Getter, Rumble, Truth Social, and Vero Social. The reason why for that is to become uncancelable. Make it hard. Make it so difficult for them to cancel you that they give up. That's why I have so many alternative social media platforms. I have so many places where I can post. Yeah, many of them are right wing platforms that value freedom of speech. But this is a clear example, guys, of what's happening on X with the AGP trans cult. Yeah. And this is why I always tell people have backups on alternative social media platforms. Have like emergency backups. It's like I tell people this analogy. It's like having insurance for the car. Okay, social media should be like the alternative social media platforms should be like insurance in case something happens to your primary ones. And that's why I've been telling everyone on social media, I've been telling everyone on X, always have a backup. You're always welcome into alternative social media platforms. Okay, you always are, guys. You always are. But in any case, guys, I thank you guys for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now. You just listened to an episode of Nikki's World. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.